Hi, Fedor.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for the introduction. It's an honor for me to be here on stage. So this session is about applying AI to the tender process and how we support knowledge workers with the help of AI. So my name is Fedor Klinkenberg. I'm the co-founder of Brainial. So before we start, have you ever been involved in writing a tender response? So maybe not all of you. So what is tendering? So tendering refers to the process whereby government agencies required by law or just organizations invite bids for larger projects, products or services that must be submitted within a certain time frame or a finite deadline. So companies who would like to win the project, they need to respond to this tender or RFQ in order to win the contract. And it's all transparent and it's set up in such a way that the decision is made objectively in a transparent way. But it involves also a lot of paperwork. So the contracting authority writes down a lot of information in various documents, and also the responses are written down in various documents. That said, I would like to tell you a story. I would like you to meet Mike. Mike is a tender manager at Random Inc. And Mike has a passion for writing tender responses. He likes to think about all the tactics he can use, his tender strategy, in order to win this big project for his company. But Mike has a problem. He spends more than 50% of his time searching for information, reading through all the documents, and finding for interpretations of information. And in actual fact, if he receives a tender, the first thing he does is he goes to the printer, he prints it all out, stacks it in a binder if it fits in one, and then he starts reading. He is using a marker, sticky notes, all sort of things, and he's reading through those documents. When we speak to the Mikes of this world, they are also providing reading lists to other colleagues and all sorts of things to structure all the data received. Time is ticking, so Mike needs to digest all the information and starts with writing his response. When he would like to use a certain piece of the past, or he's looking for specific information in the tender, he has problems searching for the right information and finding the right information. What he does is he calls with colleagues, he's sending them emails with questions where he can ask certain information. Also, if you look at colleagues from other departments, they have all sorts of tools to support them by their work, but Mike is only working with Word and Excel primarily. In some cases, they work with a calculation software, but that's it. And yes, we are still in the year 2020. So Mike is going through all those paperwork, looking for criteria, answers, risks, all sort of information. We literally speak to the Mikes of this world, and they are manually copy and pasting requirements from all out of those documents into one other document, making reading lists, looking for financial information, what's the context, looking for pricing information, all sort of things. He does that all manually. So tender managers, they are spending too much time on mind-numbing tasks. So how can we free them up and allow them to use their experience and their years of experience and their knowledge on relevant and more challenging tasks in order to win the bid, win the tender? It's time to leverage AI developments to support the knowledge workers like Mike. What we see, there are massive developments in computer vision, natural language processing, and natural language understanding algorithms. So we all know the example of computer vision based on deep learning is used to steer self-driving cars. But it's also used to recognize the most important parts of pieces of paper. So to go through the documents and recognizes this is a table, this is a paragraph, a title, this is text within a drawing. And if we stack that and combine that with natural language processing, it allows us to build and train models that capture and find relations in data. It allows you to build knowledge graphs or perform classifications and predictions on it, all to derive meaning out of large pieces of unstructured text, to come close to what Mike is doing as a human. So new language understanding architectures like BERT and transformers are used in order to do so. This allows us currently to create systems that can see, read, and understand information like a human, or almost like a human. So we start with simple tasks. Make sure we help Mike with automating the simple tasks like structuring information or finding for information. So we stack computer vision models, advanced natural language processing, and prediction in order to do so. We train systems instead of coding. And slowly, with people in the loop, we are creating Mike's own digital twin. Not fully yet, but we are getting there. And the state where technology is in at the moment, we are able to solve Mike's problems. We can help him by finding information fast. We use vector search or semantic search, so we can search on a specific search term, but also in the context around this search term. We can let him filter on specific filters, like he would like to search for technical requirements or deliverable documents or procedural tender stuff. So there are many ways in order to help Mike on finding his information fast and without disturbing his colleagues with all sorts of questions. We can also help him with automatically structuring the information he receives. So we can categorize requirements, categorize all the important information about the tender received to the lowest level to make sure he doesn't need to spend time on putting all sticky notes on it or copying and pasting information into structured documents. We can also help him with content recommendations. So in this example, we could help him with providing him a list of all the documents he needs to include in his response. Think of client reference cases or certifications he needs to submit. We can help him with content association, but also with some risk identification or answer suggestions based on historical data. So currently the technology, the state of technology is okay to help Mike with simple tasks. But what if we take a look at the future and what AI will bring us to become and to create a system which becomes more closer to the digital twin of Mike? We believe that the system in the future will do answer generation. So every tender response is unique. And the system knows the contracting authority, the system knows the context of the tender, the system has access to historical data. So it will be able in the future to provide a unique answer to the requirements set in the tender. And perhaps it's used for identifying contradictions, technical contradictions or legal contradictions, or the system becomes more proactive in helping Mike. So it will prescribe the steps Mike needs to take. It will suggest actions to do. And maybe one step further, the systems will take over the full negotiation of the terms and conditions of the contract. We think we can provide a digital assistant now and even a better one in the future to make sure the Mikes of this world have time available to focus on the things they are good at as a human, being creative, make sure they understand the customer very well and make sure they submit a winning tender response. We do think the future of Mike is bright. Thank you very much.